Hi, fight fans, welcome back again to another episode of the African Fighters. And in today's episode, we're going to be giving you two previews of the matchups that you should be looking forward to at UFC 288. Alright, the first fight will be between Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Devin Clark in the light heavyweight category. Alright, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. And as we always do, we'll give you the tale of the tape. We'll see how they match up and then give you what we think is going to happen. We'll begin with the Nigerian Kennedy Nzechukwu. Amazing, talented fighter. He has won 2 out of his last 4 fights with back-to-back losses to Dayong and Nicole Negumerenu. He bounced back against Carl Robson and Ion Kutelaba. He's one of the rangiest fighters in the division, ever since John Jones vacated the division to move up to heavyweight. He is one of the rangiest fighters in the light heavyweight division. He holds a professional record of 11-3, and for this fight against Devin Clark, he is the slight favorite, just a very slight favorite by the bookmakers. A clear advantage for him is the height advantage. He stands 6'5", and also has reach advantage over his opponent by 8 inches, which is massive. Navigating, through his long arms and his long guard, he always has a high guard, is going to be a problem for every opponent that he faces. And then we move to Devin Clark. Devin Clark has a professional record of 14-7. He's lost 3 of his last 5 fights, even though some of them were really fights that would get you at the edge of your seat. The fight he lost to Ion Kutelaba was one very thrilling fight for the ages. It's one you go back and watch again and see how both fighters give everything. He is a slight underdog, he's 33 years of age. He's only 6 foot, he's only barely 6 foot. Also has a 75-inch reach, which is a far cry from his opponent at UFC 288, Kennedy Nzechukwu. Alright, now that we're done with giving you the stats, let's jump right into it. First of all, Devin Clark is an absolute dog. He is a man that can take a beating. We've seen him in fights where he has been absolutely dominated, but they've not been able to put him away. These kind of fighters only come once in a while, and big ups to him. He's an amazing competitor. He leaves everything in the cage, leaves everything in the octagon. All the tools and the skill sets required to dominate this fight will lie with Kennedy Nzechukwu. But in previous fights, he has shown to be very tentative. Sometimes he just sits back and allows his opponent to control the pace of the fight. He allows his opponent to, control the center of the octagon, dictate how the fight is going to go. And if he is not able to take control of this fight, I believe the dog mentality of Devin Clark might just, overwhelm him. He needs to stamp his authority. Devin Clark, if you do not allow him to basically just charge at you with whatever he wants, he can be bullied. We saw him fall short physically against his last few opponents. We saw him fall short physically against Kutelaba. We saw him fall short physically against Azamat and also against Anthony Smith. I believe that if Kennedy can just put his God-given abilities and talents to good use in this fight, I think he should come out with this one easily. But we've seen him start very slowly in the past, and that might hamper how this fight will play out. Personally, I think he likes to keep a high guard, but he needs to let his hands go sometimes. I think he needs to stop worrying too much about what the opponent is going to do and worry more about what he's going to do to his opponent. And so if he can do that moving forward, I believe he's a physical specimen to contend with. He doesn't really move as much as you would expect him to move. Someone as athletic as he is, the footwork game is improving. It's getting better and better as fights go on. If he can put it together, I believe he takes this fight comfortably. Alright, and from there we move to the main event of UFC 288. We're seeing the man, the myth, the legend retire and come back into the sport to challenge for the title. Henry Cejudo taking on the new kingpin, the man in charge of the bantamweight division, UFC champion Aljamain Sterling. This promises to be an amazing matchup. The build up to the fight has been amazing. We've seen them, exchange words via social media, via YouTube. We've seen them show respect to each other at the hotel. The build-up has just been so amazing, and it promises to be a very impressive fight, not one you will want to miss. First of all, we'll begin as we always do with giving you the statistics of this fight is, if you do not know that already. Cejudo has a professional record of 16-2. Those 2 losses came against Joseph Benavidez and the legendary Demetrius Johnson. Cejudo, those losses were a very, very long time ago. The last time the man lost was 7 years ago. We know he retired, but he's come back now to reclaim what he thinks belongs to him. I mean, if you look in the win column of the past fights of both of these guys, all you're going to see is W's. They are serial winners. Cejudo is 36 years of age, stands 5 foot 4 inches tall, has a 67.5 inch reach, and now he'll be taking on the champion, Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling is 22-3 in his professional MMA career. He had back-to-back losses with Brian Caraway and Rafael Asuncao, later losing to Marlon Moraes. Aside that, it's been perfect, and the last time this man lost was in 2017, which is about 6 years ago. So he's a serial winner. He's gotten used to winning. He stands 5 foot 7 inches tall with the reach advantage over Cejudo. Alright, now let's jump right into this. This is one of the most difficult fights to call technically, because these 2 fighters are so gifted and have perfected the art of doing what they do very, very well. Aljamain Sterling, loves to circle, loves to give his opponent different reads. He's never just standing still, and because of that, it's very difficult to make reads on him. We've seen him go back-to-back fights against Yan, and Yan, who is known for making reads and adjusting in fight, was not able to figure him out. His lateral movements are so difficult to read. Although he'll be going up against someone who is adept at reading and figuring out movement in Cejudo. Cejudo is known for controlling not just the pace of the fight, but the angles as well. And that's why this matchup is very difficult. The psychological battle alone is strong enough to, affect the fight. We also know Aljamain Sterling is very, very notorious for taking the back of opponents and finishing them with a rear naked choke. He does have different means of setting up that rear naked choke, shooting for a single leg, transitioning to a double leg, quickly wrapping in the hooks. Then he gets the body triangle, and before you know what's happening, he's got the rear naked choke in place, and now it's just a matter of time before the opponent taps. Cejudo is an accomplished wrestler. You would expect to have ways of countering all these great things that Aljo does, and make no mistake about it, these 2 guys can also strike as well, and that is a big factor. I mean, Cejudo's knees, and controlling of, space and striking. It's very difficult to get into Cejudo's guard. His understanding of angles and space is second to none. His takedown defense is also great because he has good wrestling background, and he can also take you down in the blink of an eye. He has so many counters. When he shoots, he can go back up and then transition back down. He is an amazing complete fighter, and this one is too difficult to call, and honestly, I am not sure where this fight is going to go. Personally, I might lean a little bit towards Cejudo, but the bookies are calling this one with no clear favorite yet. This might change leading up to the fight, but I just think that Cejudo's wrestling background might just be enough. The fact that he's such a good technical fighter, he might be able to have more of an answer for Aljo's movement and setups compared to previous fights that Aljo has been in. Also, Aljamain Sterling has never fought anybody like Cejudo, and that might be a problem for him. This is one fight you will not want to miss. Alright, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comment in the comment section. Who do you think is going to come out victorious in these 2 fights we just previewed? Do you think Kennedy Nzechukwu will be able to do anything against Devin Clark? Do you think Devin Clark might win that one? Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling, who's your pick? Who do you have winning? Let us know in the comment section. See you next time.